Good Saturday evening to M11 Live weather impact meteorologist Melissa Nord. It is 5 o'clock and we are looking ahead to the likelihood that parts of Georgia will see light snow first thing tomorrow morning. So the chance of snow, where that snow is going to fall, it has nudged a tiny bit further to the north and west today. Not by a lot, but a little bit. And there's going to be a really sharp cutoff between who sees no snow and who sees half an inch of snow, and who ends up seeing 2 inches or so of snow. So we've gone ahead and issued a weather impact alert. I do not believe that the roads will be highly impacted by this snow, but where the snow falls, especially untreated bridges and overpasses, there could be slushy and slick driving conditions. So that weather impact alert Sunday from 4 a.m. until noon. That snow time frame for starting the changeover to rain, from rain, what we're going to see this evening, to snow would happen sometime in that early part of the window between really 3 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning. And then we would see some of that snow continuing for a few hours, probably wrapping up closer to 10 or 11, but I wanted to leave that window open until noon with this alert. The latest in the advisories. Okay, so winter weather advisory was expanded north and west. And if you've been watching any of our main channel on 11 Live today, you may have seen that crawl running this afternoon. That's for the expansion of the winter weather advisory. This is from noon until 3 a.m. until noon, where up to half an inch of snow accumulation is possible. In the winter storm warning, those amounts are going to be higher, and that's what I want to zoom in and show you here. Winter storm warning was added for kind of Macon down to Americus area in Dublin, Georgia. This small little area in pink, that's where this storm could really crank out a brief window with heavier snowfall amounts, or heavier snowfall rates, I should say. And so with that, we'll end up with some snowfall amounts there that could be 2 to 3 inches as the snow starts to fall. Here's the setup though. We've got this Arctic air which is on its way in, and meanwhile, as that's coming in, we've got this low pressure system developing in the northern Gulf, and that is sending moisture northward in our direction. So where the cold air is overrun with the moisture, we're going to see a little window for some of that snow breaking out early on Sunday morning. That system eventually pulls up the 95 corridor, bringing some snow to Raleigh, up to maybe southern Maryland, and perhaps east of the 95 corridor as we travel into the northeast as well. Outside right now, we had some sunshine midday today, but those clouds have really been thickening up. That moisture from the Gulf starting to arrive. I know you're seeing green on this radar. It's not actually raining for most of these places right now, but as we head through the overnight, that moisture becomes a little more deeper, and we will start to see rain breaking out. But temperatures right now are still plenty warm enough to where we're not going to see snow breaking out initially. In fact, that's one of the reasons why the Georgia Department of Transportation has not been doing as much brining in advance of this system, is because there is all that rain moving in first. If you get a 1/10 of an inch or more of brine a tenth of an inch or more of rain on top of brined roads, it washes the brine off. This year they've started experimenting, the past couple of years, but especially this year, with beet juice in some of that brine in northeast Georgia, because it has a little more tackiness factor to it. So they're testing that for other parts of the state. But in terms of what they're going to be doing for the roads down, especially in central Georgia, a lot of it is going to be having crews out tomorrow morning rather than any pre-treatment, because of the rain that's going to fall first this evening and overnight. So where is it going to snow? Where is it going to be all rain? Big picture, it's going to start as rain, then there's going to be a changeover to snow during the overnight. And there's still some differences in the models in terms of how far north that rain versus snow line comes, and how far north the northern edge of that precipitation comes in general. We put here 4 different models, and I'll pull my cursor up here so you can kind of see. Here's the graph model. This is Atlanta, right? Let's see if I can point to it. That's Atlanta right there. Macon is this little intersection there. Okay, so you can see the graph model is pulling it just north of Macon. The North American model is pulling it just to Macon. The American model down here is pulling it all the way to the I-85 corridor, and the Europeans also nudged that no snow to snow corridor up a little north from where it was yesterday. So with all that being said, if it snows where you are, it doesn't mean it's going to accumulate right away. The ground right now is fairly warm. We have temperatures that I'll pull up right now, our current temps. I mean, we've been up in the 50s for a lot of us this afternoon. It really hasn't been that cold of a day. So when we talk about warm temperatures in advance of a snowfall system, the ground temperatures are also pretty warm. So this helps any moisture coming down, snowflakes, to melt as they reach the road, even if the road is not brined or pre-treated. Brine is a solution of sodium chloride or salt, and that brine lowers the freezing temperature of the road surfaces. It takes it all the way down from 32 degrees down through the 20s to the low 20s, really. So brine's usually pretty efficient here, but because of this rain coming in advance, they're really not going to be brining. Now, I showed you that northern extent of the snow on this model comparison. Let me talk about snowfall amounts with this model comparison. Take this with a grain of salt. Not everything that falls will accumulate, but what the American model is picking up on is that northern push in the snowfall amounts, but also some brief heavier snowfall coming down. And if it comes down at a good enough clip and these big fat wet snowflakes are coming down, because our temperatures down there in Macon are going to be probably above freezing as the snow is really falling, we're going to end up with snow coming down fast enough to where it overcomes the warm ground temperature. So that's where we're going to see the biggest impacts for the roadways, is from really Macon to Americus, down east, out to about Vidalia or so along I-16. So we will see that the greatest impacts with this system are going to be in central Georgia, but it's that northern extent. Is that northern extent of the snow going to come all the way up to metro Atlanta like the GFS model, the American model, showing? Or is it going to stay closer to Macon, which is what a lot of our in-house models are showing? This is our graph model, which I think is pretty reasonable. It's showing some of those snowfall amounts in Macon around an inch, and then 1 to 2 inches there from Perry to about Tifton to Albany, Americus, and out towards Dublin. It kind of brings a sharper cutoff before you get to Vidalia there along I-16. Let's look at the HER model. This is another model that we look at very closely. This one yesterday was pretty far north. Today it's coming in fairly reasonable with that northern cutoff. And again, it has the same bullseye area there from Macon to Perry to Dublin over to about Americus. But look at this cutoff. I mean, it's so sharp between seeing an inch of snow and seeing no snow. So we'll see where that northern edge of the moisture lines up tomorrow morning. We could end up with that northern edge of the moisture as far north as McDonough and as far north as, say, kind of Covington area, but it may be only to Macon and Milledgeville. And with that, it could be really a non-issue here on the southern side of the metro. And when I say non-issue, I don't think this is a highly impactful event any way you spin it. The temperatures today are pretty warm. The ground temperatures tomorrow morning as the snow's coming down will probably still be the road surface temperatures like in the 40s initially, and then they'll be dropping into the 30s. So with all that being said, adding a half an inch of snow when it is a wet snow and not a dry snow, and the ground temperature is pretty warm, I don't think we're going to see a ton of huge impacts. Our reporter, Galat Malamed, is actually out right now in Henry County and Butts County, and she's been talking to the emergency manager in Butts County about, what rock salt and number of road crews and everything they have ready to go tomorrow morning if that snow does make it all the way north to Butts County. So you can see here our snowfall kind of potential map here. We've got that little bullseye of the 1 to 2 inches, and then that sharp cutoff on the northern side, but really going up to a half an inch for our counties that are under that winter weather advisory. So again, the winter weather advisory, that's going to be for Henry County, Newton County, and then points east and south of that. So it includes Spalding, Pike, Lamar, Upson, Meriwether, Jasper County, Morgan County, Greene County, but it does not include Clayton, DeKalb, Rockdale counties, or Atlanta. Okay, so it does not include any of those. That's our winter weather advisory first thing tomorrow morning. let me put everything in motion for you, and we're also going to have another one of these extended live updates coming up today at 6:30 after our newscast. You can see big picture moisture coming in from the south and west. So this evening we are expecting rain showers to redevelop. It will just be rain early tonight. The Arctic air hasn't quite surged in yet. As the temperatures drop from the 40s into the 30s and the moisture keeps working northward, you see that changeover. Now, this model's changeover, this is our in-house graph model, has that changeover barely clipping some of our southeastern counties, but it's mostly Macon and just south and just southeast of Macon, getting that short window of a couple of hours of what I like to call hammer time in terms of snow. Like it's coming down pretty good. And then it is out of here for the afternoon. Tomorrow's going to be a blustery cold day in the afternoon as that Arctic air really settles in. Tomorrow morning, eventually dropping down to a low of about 30. We will spend the morning tracking that moisture. This is a planner for Atlanta. We are not forecasting the consistent snow to make it as far north as Atlanta. So that's why you don't see the flakes on this day part for tomorrow morning. But it's going to be a gusty day. We're going to reach 40 degrees for the high, and the wind chills with those breezy winds are going to be stuck in the 30s during your Sunday afternoon. We should clear out the cloud cover, bring in sunshine tomorrow. Once the sun sets, though, that's going to mean it is colder as we head into Sunday night. Any moisture left on the roads would refreeze for first thing on Monday morning. We're not going to be dealing with school cancellations and delays in any part of the state because it is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So in that respect, that's good that this is timed out on that weekend, this weekend. But Monday is a huge day for service projects across the state. So there could be some impacts to the start time for any of those or remembrance ceremonies that are happening around the state as well. There's always the big one at Ebenezer Baptist Church here in Atlanta on the morning time. So we'll be watching that. So again, just to kind of recap, we have a weather impact alert. We've added one for Sunday morning for that window when the southeast side of the metro could see some light snowfall falling. This is not enough snow to where it's going to be plowable. Much of it will melt on the roadways, but on especially grassy and elevated surfaces, there could be some light accumulations, coating half an inch or so. Most of those better snowfall amounts are going to be in that central Georgia bullseye there you can see in pink. So winter weather advisory in purple. It does not include Atlanta. We get new model data in though again this evening. So we will be reevaluating the snow potential, and the National Weather Service will as well. All right, what we're going to do from here is you're going to see all these graphics looping coming up right after this, and then at 6 o'clock you can join us for 11 Alive News right here on 11 Alive Plus and on 11 Alive, the main station. I'm going to be breaking down the latest timing. I get a little new model data in between now and the top of the hour at 6, so I'll be breaking down what I expect to play out first thing tomorrow morning.